Hi, I'm Peter Knight. I want to talk this morning about sequence of body movement in the downswing. There's a video I've already done where I've talked about sequence of body movement in the backswing, and you can search that through links in the description on this video. If we talk about how we move our body during the swing, essentially the body needs to be the boss of the movement. With any movement where we've got contact with our feet with the ground, essentially we need to use the ground and sequence the body movement to get maximum power. I mean, think of taking a basketball free throw without moving your legs. It would take so much effort from your arms to make an effort to throw the ball. By using your legs, it reduces that. Now, that's a linear motion. Golf's a rotational movement, but the principle applies. We need to use the body to generate speed, to generate power, so the arms and hands don't have to take over and do too much of the work. So very quick review of what we did last time. If we look, so at address, hips and shoulders are set square to the target, which is represented by these alignment rods. When I make my backswing, I want my upper body to rotate at about double the rate that my lower body's rotating. So you can see when I get to the end of my backswing here, which is going to be shorter than a normal swing because I haven't got the weight of the club to help me to go back further, but you can see that my upper body is rotating at about twice the rate. So that when I get to the end of my backswing, my upper body has rotated about twice what my lower body has. Now, so let's say you get to the top of the backswing, upper body might have rotated, 80 degrees or 90 degrees, and lower body's rotated, 40 to 50 degrees. Now I've got some torque that's developed through the center of my body. When I begin my downswing, my lower body's rotating back toward the target, and you can see the very first movement, my lower body's actually moving much, much more than what my upper body is. Now what that does is it increases the torque through the center of my body. So as I continue to allow my hips to turn, my shoulders are going to start to catch up, and they won't catch up until after impact. So impact, my lower body is rotated maybe 30, 40 degrees, and my upper body's rotated, 10, 25 degrees or something like that. There's a range, doesn't have to be exactly something. And then after impact, my upper body's rotated and caught up to my lower body. So I've got changing speeds of upper and lower body working the whole time in my swing, to say nothing of arms and club. But really here we're just focused on the body. So if you also notice that from here, as I turn back toward the target, my left leg is becoming more and more vertical. So my balance is into my left side, and it's actually the movement through my feet, pressure through my feet, which is helping to move my hips. So I'm not just spinning my hips, I'm actually using pressure through the ground to move my hips. The tricky thing about the movement is that everything's moving at different speeds. So for example, in my downswing, my lower body is going to move from here, the end of the backswing, to say here at impact, and my hips are going to increase speed and then eventually slow down to impact. Of course, I'll keep moving after that, but their maximum speed is going to be when they're roughly square to the target. So I'm increasing my hip speed, and now it's slowing down, and eventually I'll get to the finish of my swing and it'll stop. My upper body is going to do the same thing, as in it will increase its speed and then slow down and eventually stop. So we've got these constantly changing rates of speed all the time. The reason that's important is that so many players feel that I have to accelerate everything through impact. And of course, if you do that, then you're not going to get that sequence moving correctly. If we go back to the basketball free throw, it's a little bit like starting to push through my legs and continuing to push as I throw. I certainly wouldn't make many baskets. I'd fall over a lot too, I would imagine. It's the same thing with golf. So find that movement sequence. Realize that your hip's maximum speed is only about halfway through the downswing. After that, it's slowing down all the way until you get to the finish of your swing. Practice the movements, copy what I'm doing with alignment rods, with and without a club, at slow speeds, and then building up the speed until you get a sense of retaining balance as you're going through that movement. Once you do that, then find a way for your arms not to override your body movement, but to work with your body movement, and you'll find that that'll make a massive difference to your ability to sequence well and get power without putting in a lot of effort.